So we are sort of live in the Empowered Mom Studios. And today I just have to ask the question, like, are you afraid of what people are going to think if you are your full authentic self? I'm going to tell you a story. Okay. So there was this, I guess it was either a TikTok video or an Instagram reel or something where the backstory of it is that this influencer or whatever, this woman, she decided to film herself. She wanted to get her husband's reaction. So she filmed herself in her wedding dress that she was still able to fit into after 9 years of marriage. So she's all excited and she's just dancing towards him. She's got music on and he is sitting on his phone like this. And she's trying to get closer to him. And she's just looking like, baby, like, look at, look, trying to stir up a memory. And he's completely ignoring her. And she just looks at the camera and she's just like, but you can tell that she's had to shrug something really painful off. Because I don't think that it was her immediate thought that she's going to record this video and he's going to be like that. She probably wanted some great reaction of him, like looking at her and being like, oh my gosh, you're in your wedding dress. You're so sexy. Come here and showcase their love. Because no woman wants to humiliate their husband like that. It was his own treatment of her. And she chose to show that, possibly even as like a bid for help. To be like, is anybody else's husband like this? Or am I crazy for expecting more of a reaction? This is where things get gross. Okay? So I'm actually gonna read off some of these comments that I saw. So one woman gets it. And she's like, this is women's lived experiences, and now it is viewed, witnessed, and we all hold space for each other. Beautiful. Absolutely. Man comments, unevolved man. I'm going to make a distinction between a man who is aware of this pattern and is breaking it and working through whatever is blocking him from seeing his woman and probably even shows up for her, versus somebody who's completely, like, you can tell there's a lot of people that are triggered. Although I agree it's disrespectful to be ignored, I think it's also disrespectful to humiliate your husband of 9 years on social media or in public in general. He's probably sick of her filming stupid shit for the internet to see. Another woman said, this happened to me. I would put on a pretty dress and stand in front of him, and he would tell me to move, and I would just cry. Ended up divorcing him, and then he begged me to take him back after 9 years of abuse. No, thank you. I was happy to finally be free and happy. Someone, a man, prime example of women doing literally the least and expecting princess treatment. 3 laughing emojis. I put on a dress and stand in front of him like a fish out of water, and he dared to not immediately fly us to the Bahamas while carrying me through the airport. I'm done with abusers. Did she say anything in that about wanting him to fly her to the Bahamas, or did she just want a little bit of recognition? Something as simple as, oh, wow, baby, you look so good in that. Like, is that so hard to do? And then, of course, there's a lot of women that blow up at these men. I don't even give them the time of day. I'm cheeky as hell. But then there's another one that's, yeah, there's a lot of women that go and attack this guy. But that's what they want. They want that. You have to understand something about the people that will go and put hurtful comments. They're looking for attention. It doesn't matter what it is. So it's like, why is this on a victim page? All he did was ignore her. one woman is, and she still fits in the dress. Okay. Yeah, she fits in the dress. That's great. What? Um, and then there's one that kind of gets it, and it still fits perfectly after 9 years, and she still wants to impress him and throw the whole husband away because he doesn't deserve her. No, he does not. Somebody else is like trying to justify the behavior. Most men don't like being recorded or have their picture taken. He's using the phone, might be work related. Maybe she's always posting and he's bored of it. I don't think he's being disrespectful. Again, honey, she's an influencer. Okay, she's an influencer. Like that is like her thing. One thing that I'm so grateful for is learning that the people that are meant to be with you are going to support what you're doing. They're going to cheer you on. They're going to participate in it. And in a relationship, as I talk about in my book all the time, so you need to have the right support from your partner. If you don't have that right support from your partner, like this is what kind of clued me in that my ex was not right for me, because I realized that the level that I was climbing up to, I needed somebody who would be able to participate and speak with me. An empowered dad that would be able to come with me to events and talk from the dad's perspective to people, other dads, because it just lands more powerfully when another man is telling a man, hey, you need to step up for your wife, rather than it always being the women telling the man to step up. It just works better because it shows that actually, yes, there are evolved men out there who can do the work. So then what's your excuse? You don't have one now because you can't say all men are like this. No, you've just ran into somebody who's shown you your next level. Just like you can't say all women are bitches if you suddenly meet a sister, like a friend, who is actually cheering you on and she's not cutting you down because you can fit into your dress after 9 years. And she's not telling you that, well, maybe your husband just didn't appreciate that you were filming him. Instead, she's like validating your experience. And she's like, you know what? Throw the whole husband out if he's not going to actually appreciate the gem you are, because other men will. So then somebody else doesn't understand it, another man. She set up a camera and tried to do it for internet clicks and likes, not because she wanted her husband. This woman wants attention and will get it anywhere. He's sick of her shit. Or maybe she wanted to try to share in a moment that she's also trying to build something and she wants him to be part of it with her. But, okay, so I'm going to preface this by saying that I got a hell of a lot of comments on this already, and they keep coming, and they're not all kind. Okay? But this is what happens when you start to share things in an authentic way. This is why I've asked you the question, are you afraid to share something authentic and true to you because of what other people are going to say about you? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to be visible, you are going to have people saying terrible things about you. If you want to be your authentic self, you are going to have people saying terrible things about you. And you have to be able to let that go. Because here is what happened, okay? So I saw all of these comments that were tearing this poor woman down and trying to justify the man's behavior. And I recognized when, like, there's something I recognized even when I was a birth worker and a birth advocate. For every single person that comments on something like that, there are probably hundreds, if not thousands more that are going to see it, maybe not even react, maybe not even follow it, but they will see it, they might read it, and they might take those comments, and they might not be in a place of empowerment. They might end up with the confirmation bias of, yeah, I'm just making like a big deal out of this. And if this is the way that people see it, then I can't be me, is what the message comes through. This happens with the birth work community so often, where a mom will go in the wrong mom group and she'll say, hey, can I say no to this test, or can I say no to this intervention? And a lot of people will pile on this mom and tell her how she's wrong. And that can scare others who have the same experience or maybe even did refuse that test to think that there's something wrong with them or they just don't want that heat. It takes courage and bravery to be authentic. It takes that courage. You have to be willing to recognize that this is bigger than yourself. So I am willing to be attacked outright, told I'm wrong, told I'm crazy, told that I'm off my rocker, told all of these things because it's authentic truth that others are too afraid to experience or to express of themselves. For every time that I speak out against an injustice or point something out, that something isn't quite adding up here, or put something inspirational out there, I am going to get a lot of crap thrown at me. And I've gotten to the place after 10 years of doing this that I just expect it. And it's okay. It's like, yeah, it's probably going to happen. If it doesn't, awesome. Yeah. Like, who cares though? Because I'm sharing something that there are so many people out there that are going to like it, or they're going to take it in internally and they're not going to say a word. But then maybe 6 months later, I suddenly get a message in my inbox. Hey, that thing you said way back 6 months ago that I never actually told you that it meant to me, this is what it did for me. Like, I just recently saw this with another mom. I never worked with her as a client. I just maybe messaged her once or twice, or maybe she heard some of my posts, or she just took something that I gave out just as a free expression. And she went and she had this beautiful natural birth that she otherwise wouldn't have had if not for hearing what I was saying. And I don't know where those come from. That's why I just put it out there. So I saw all of these horrible comments on this thing. And like this account is for victims and survivors who are then thriving. So this is supposed to be something that shows women. The intention of this post that was shared is a showing of intention for women to see that, lady, you deserve so much better. If your husband is not even acknowledging you and you feel like you need to just diminish yourself, you're not thriving in this relationship. You need to find somebody who's going to celebrate you. And it triggered a lot of people. Got that post viral, obviously, because I was able to see it. And it got people talking in the comments. Sometimes it's something controversial or something that challenges a societal norm or challenges a paradigm that you're like basically dismantling it for people to start hating on you. So I get a lot of hate on a lot of my posts, and I'm just accepting it now. And here's why. So this is what I did. Now, part of this was I wanted to be authentic and I wanted to put some light into the world and some hope for these women. I wanted to express that lived experience. I wanted to be able to touch those hearts, those women that were reading those things and thinking, yeah, I guess I am wrong because all of these men keep saying that I'm wrong. But for every single man that's saying that, they're coming in deliberately to tear women down. The evolved ones are probably not following that stuff. It's the triggered ones that are doing it. And they're always the loudest. The loudest voices are the ones that are the nastiest. And we've got to change that around. The loudest voices need to be those of us with open hearts and that sensitivity that maybe we have had this fear all of our lives that if we say something, it's going to piss people off. Yes. You still have to go through it. You have to get past that. It's bigger than you. Because if you don't speak out, who will? Will they be able to do it as well as you can? Can they express their heart? I have this talent for writing. I've had it since I was a little girl, and I'm finally putting that thought process out there. So here's what I wrote, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it. I did not expect it to get the response that it's gotten. Right now, currently, since posting it yesterday in the afternoon, it has 759 likes. Now, I didn't write this for likes. I didn't write this for reactions. I wrote this to put like that light out there. It was just a beautiful, entertaining story with a beautiful, empowering message. It took me 5 minutes to do it. This is how fast that this can happen. Okay. I've now gotten a lot of recognition from this one thing. Not all of it good. Some people are really pissed off, but you know. Okay. So I wrote, that was the last time she tried. She realized that night as she cried herself to sleep alone in their bed that this wasn't the man she was meant to be with. As an influencer, she had dreams and ambitions and had recognized that the man standing with her would not only need to be supportive, but join in it with her. Now, again, this is a very, very short story, so I haven't gone into the impact that she might be trying to make. For all I know, this woman could be trying to do like relationship posting. Maybe this was an old video where she had actually just filmed it for the memories and then she posted it to try to show others like this is what I dealt with in my relationship. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's the story that connects people. So she needed someone with just as much drive and ambition who could shine beside her in the spotlight. Not someone who rolled his eyes and treated her with such disdain. Someone who would have taken her in his arms and kissed her with so much love and delight at having her. Someone who appreciated the fact that even after 9 years, she still wanted to surprise him in her wedding dress. But it was clear that her husband was not that man. He had looked good on paper, but it wasn't enough. Her heart deserved to be fully known, and so that night she chose herself. When she finally left, he acted like he hadn't seen it coming. She no longer had the time or desire to point out how many times she had already tried to get him to love her. Okay. So I have a lot of comments. Holy crap, do I have a lot? They just keep coming. My goodness, so many. Okay. But I've added an extra piece because I wanted to also teach. 2 weeks later, she was out walking her dog, loving her new apartment and new life. So she's already left him. She's got a new life, new apartment. She's got a dog. Probably she couldn't have a dog when she was with him, but she went and got a dog. When she caught a handsome stranger filming himself and speaking to something that she held close to her heart. So he's speaking on probably the same messages that she's trying to make an impact in the world. Like he's basically the one is the implication here. Because the one for you is the one that when you are doing your bird call, they're doing their bird call, and then those bird calls kind of resonate. So she was captivated. Another influencer. It turned out he was single. And she immediately checked out his channel and she fell in love with his soul before she ever touched his skin. Because that's the thing is like with your soulmate, your true love, you don't just fall in love with the outside shell. You fall in love with who they are. And you want to be known for who you are. And if she's not appreciated for who she is in that relationship, she needs to know that. So that's one thing that I recognized with myself is that I wasn't appreciated for who I was. And I stand for true, authentic love in all relationships, even with my friends. My friends appreciate me for who I am, not what I do for them. There's a lot of times where it's like, can you come to my thing? Unfortunately, I can't. I love you. I support you energetically. Right now, I have to take care of myself. I'm like, of course you do. You take care of yourself. We have that energy of, hey, I love you, you love me. If we say something to each other and it gives us a wince in our heart, we know that it's not because we're trying to hurt each other. We're not punishing each other. It's not, you didn't do this thing, so now I'm going to ignore you for 2 days. Or you're not you're standing up for yourself and I don't like it, or you're doing this crazy thing you do, so I'm just going to ignore you and treat you with contempt. Because the thing is, like, some people were justifying this and saying, well, maybe he's mad at her and she's just trying to be cute and he's not having it. And I'm like, no, no, that level of contempt, mm-mm, no, that's just nasty. So, um, then I'd also put, um, oh, I had so much. I'd mentioned about never settling, and oh my gosh, like there is so many people just replying. Like it's just insane. Oh, um, oh, okay. So there's my stuff again. So I said, never stay where you're not wanted. That was my greatest lesson when I finally got the courage to leave my ex. Every relationship before the one is practice for the one. This is something I learned from Annie Lala. She's amazing. She's the best friend and mentor and love coach that I have ever been able to be in connection with. She has just up leveled everything for my ability to hold my feelings and to be able to express myself and to be able to not like perpetuate a lot of cycles that were in my family of origin and to be able to actually be a better mom as well as a better friend, a better family member. Like I am fully myself because I've got like the most amazing, one of my amazing best friends ever. And like I just love her so much. And Sasha, I love you too if you're watching. So pass this on to Annie because I know she's not able to look at it right now, but I know she will appreciate the shout out. Go check out Annie Lala. She's on Instagram at Lalabird. She's got a website as well. So like this is it though. This is about relationships. Like you really want to understand if you're in a situationship or in a marriage that's really like you're hanging on to something that's not actually serving you, like this poor woman who was not appreciated, this is it. This is how you tell the difference. So I said every relationship before the one is practice for the one, even the really terrible relationships that kill your soul and convince you that you're not good enough and will die alone. One man's annoying woman is another man's dream girl. So I put that out there because first of all, I want them to know. Like one of the things I learned was I'm scrolling right now to get up to the top where all these comments are because I really want to read these comments out and just point out what's wrong with each one of them to really get you to see because you're probably if you're out there posting anything, you are being visible. But if you're holding back on your truth because you're afraid that somebody else is going to attack you, guess what? You're holding back on something that might help somebody else. First of all, anybody watching this who is like on my friends list and loves me and supports me and that I love and support, like like you're here because I want you here because you have shown yourself to be supportive. Now, we all have our issues, we all have our times when we get triggered by things, and that's our work to do. You don't go and shutter that on other people and tear them down. Because if you do that, what that does is try to show other people that they're bad and wrong. We don't do that. So even when people tear me down, I'm still loving, but I'm also going to call out what I see. And I mean, I was like, the Scorpio in me was like, oh, hell no, you're not tearing down these women. You're not tearing them down. There's women who are going to read these comments later and they're going to think that there's something wrong with them. So, no, not doing that. So, with that said, here is one triggered man. Very reprehensible for you to fabricate such a narrative. How do you know if perhaps earlier that day she offended him and had failed to own up to it and is now trying to playfully make nice with him when all he rather get is a show of accountability? Some influencer you are. Oh, sweet triggered man. If a woman that beautiful, who is your wife, is deciding that you are more important to her than whatever little fight you had earlier, and she is trying to make nice with you, you can still address it after. You can just sit there and you can be like, yeah, babe, I remember. Like, you are the love of my life. Like, you're doing a bid for attention and love, and you're showing that love and appreciation of me, even though I'm mad at you. Like, your love is greater than my being mad at you. And I'm going to take you in my arms and I'm going to love you and I'm going to remember that I love you more than I'm mad at you. And then we can talk about it in a calm way and say, hey, when you did this thing, I had a wince. And then she'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that, sweetheart. I'm sorry. And it's like, yeah, like, can we just work through that next time? It's like, yeah. But if you just freeze her out, nothing gets resolved, people. Okay? So, like, seriously, no, you don't go, oh, I'm mad at you, so I'm going to freeze you out until you own up to whatever I think. Because you know what? We don't actually know what the thing is that he wants to be accountable for. This guy, I mean, he could, for all I know, he could be one of those men that I've now seen, oh, that's who you are. Oh my goodness, like, I'm staying far away from you because there is no accountability on your end. You just want women to just be your slave. Another triggered man said, this is why no one wants to date Western women anymore. Then another woman goes to the defense by saying, what, you're literally blaming her and calling all Western women undateable. Gross. Okay, yes, but that's shaming. They're not going to change if they just keep getting shamed, because it just reinforces. First of all, it gives them attention, which they want. They might want your negative attention, because then they're like, it confirms to them, yeah, all women are crazy. That's why I'm alone. Instead of recognizing, oh, that thing I said was kind of an asshole move. And women are incredibly forgiving creatures, and they can recognize that I've done a major faux pas, but there's still hope for me, versus I'm never going to change. And then, yeah, she says, you're literally blaming. And then he actually responds, yes. Then this is why I did this. A woman who says, my current situation. So she agrees that. And she's like, good for you. Choose happiness. And then of course I'm cheeky. So I'm like, responding to the woman that's like, you're blaming. I'm like, isn't it refreshing how they tell on themselves though? And then somebody else did an emoji like, then somebody else, another triggered man. This one is funny. Okay. This is like somebody trying to tear you down for just daring to express yourself. Please don't write a book. Too late. There was no suspense. It was a 5-minute written short comment. You want suspense, it's going to need to be a book. 2 weeks later, she's out walking her dog, loving her new apartment and new life, when she caught a handsome stranger filming himself and speaking to something she held close to her heart. What? A mic? A camera? Himself? She was captivated by what? Him talking to himself? Another influencer. And he just so happens to be single. And immediately she stalked his channel. How did Sue find... How... Okay. I think he's trying to say, how did she find his channel? She scrolled all night. She scrolled for a month. What? She had no name, just a voice and a face. Nothing. Not even a bit of suspense, a build of tension to get the reader engrossed. Just boom, there it is. Again, was I writing a story, or was I putting out a little bit and letting women fill in the blanks of what, like, it's fill in the blanks. You don't tell every single freaking detail. This is the problem with 50 Shades of Grey, is that instead of focusing on the actual story and the immersive experience, she goes and talks about how what the subconscious is doing in that moment, and it takes you right out of the story. You don't do that. You don't like, I love Game of Thrones, but there gets to be a point sometimes where they're just like every single minute detail is put in, and then you're just reading pages and pages of that. You don't want to do that. You want emotion, especially when you're trying to do something in 5 minutes. Like, I could write an entire romance novel about this poor woman. I seriously could. Do I need to? No, that wasn't my intention. So of course I'm cheeky. And I said, if you want an actual book, you'll have to pay me to write it. My time is valuable and I don't have to put in every single detail on a comment on social media. Someone else claps for me. He writes back, if I'm going to pay someone to write a book, it most certainly would be myself. I'm cheeky. Then by all means, write one. Then you can respond to the criticism of random strangers on the internet who pick apart every sentence of a comment that took you less than 5 minutes to write. Now, somebody else says, another triggered man, because it says Packers Nation fan. It's so insane to even fabricate an entire story like that. Wild. Okay, so now I'm insane. It's so weird to write fanfic about real people, Carly. So then I'm like, your point? Take a wild guess. And then they do a face palm. The only thing that I can think of is that you are not yet aware that weird people have way more fun in life than those who try to fit in the box. And then they respond with, okay. Somebody else attacking. You done made a whole Wattpad fanfic off a fake stage TikTok. Wow, emotions truly are a drug to y'all. Yes, triggered man. Emotions are what women are tapped into. Another triggered man. This one actually, he's got a dirty t-shirt, he's got a messy beard, and he's smoking a cigarette in his profile picture. So he worked and had things going on that required his attention to keep a roof over their heads and food in their belly, sacrificing his time for her pleasure while she, in her bedroom, watched TikTok and felt alone because she accepted her place in their relationship and wanted to be what she saw on Instagram and TikTok and to feel that she had worth. She made in 1 month what he made in a day and half the time at his expense. Left because she was doing what's in the video and with the thirst traps, fell for a dude who does less. How does he know? This influencer in my fantasy was actually quite successful and makes less and took half of what her husband built. There, I fixed your insane projections. I'm sorry, were those my insane projections, or did he just try to fill in the blanks of a story that wasn't my story? Okay, somebody else is like, so many loser husbands triggered by your innocent comments. I didn't say it. Then I'm like, I don't even think I need to point out everything wrong with what you just said. Enough women here will be thinking it for me. Also, you bear a striking resemblance to an ex of mine, right down to the condescending attitude about a woman's dreams and ambitions not being worth supporting because he makes more money. Want to take a guess how that story ended? And then the response, the triggered women, I know, right? It's so telling how many think a woman should be settled for a relationship. And then see, the thing is like, if someone else that doesn't know you calls you out for it, maybe you need to do some self-reflection. You projected your shit on someone else. Go see a therapist. Oh, this is an interesting one. Okay. First of all, when someone tells you that you are projecting something when that is not your intention, that is called gaslighting. And they are actually telling on themselves. You have to recognize this. If you're going to be authentic, you also have to recognize that people are going to be so threatened by your authenticity and your truth that they are going to tell you that you need therapy. They are going to tell you that you are crazy, and they are going to tell you that you are projecting something that's not true. When in reality, what is going on is that they are projecting onto you. This is something I really had to learn. So I was told many times, you need to do some self-reflecting because you don't see things properly. The thing is, if you have done self-reflecting, if you have actually done the work, you recognize that like the more work you do, the more people will try to project onto you and tell you that you need therapy, when in truth, they actually need to be doing the self-reflecting. Yeah, I said it. I'm not going to say it on this comment though. One woman says, I enjoyed the story whether I agree with the storyline or not. I think it's a well-written story. Ah, okay, so even if she doesn't agree, she recognizes the well-written story. And another triggered man. Oh no, this one's having fun. Oh, I thought we were all having fun. This thread is wild. I was enjoying story time. I would have went into her being so in love with the man, but then as she finds him, he is murdered while filming and she dedicates her life to avenging solving his murder. Actually, that's a great idea. But I don't do that kind of story. I like my happy endings happy. To be fair, she didn't. She asked an AI to do so. No, actually, I wrote it. No, I write my own stuff. I'm not going to let them think I had it with an AI. No, I am that talented and I enjoy having my stuff out there and I'm proud of my writing. So again, where is, so somebody is enjoying my story time. Being an influencer takes no work. Is this person an influencer? No. It's not that deep. Weird you made it that deep. Because everything can go deep. Somebody else. Whew, you said it. Yep, I said it. Somebody else. You're just sad and boring. Go procrastinate your poetry fanfic of real life. Okay, I'm not sad and boring, but thanks for just deciding to project that. Somebody else is like, you really thought you did something, huh? Somebody else said, you need to write a book. I did. I'm going to heart that. This is awesome. Some people have just started commenting. Like this is what happens though. Like I'm actually live streaming this, like recording and live streaming. I'm just sharing as I'm doing this because I really want you to understand. Like, I did actually. Now, by putting that out there, they might just look at my book. Okay, so you respond to people that are nice. Okay, you can also stand up for yourself to the mean ones, but do it in a way that it's not about you. You do it in a way that helps others stand up. So it's not about you. When you're doing this, it's not about your ego. You have to detach from outcome. This is why I shared the way I did. So somebody else is trying to attack. If all you care about is being a social media influencer, then you need to get a life and he's better off without that baggage. Bozo mentally unstable. Supposed influencers still get a real job and be a real woman. So many men are over it. And my husband says every day he's glad he met me and I'm not like these crazy whack jobs. Woo boy. Oh, honey. He said he would never even date nowadays if he was single. Okay, so you're still okay, you're not quite there yet. I'll talk to you in probably about a few years. if you recognize that he's probably going to piss on something else of your own ambitions. Those kind of people, when you say, I'm glad that you're not like this crazy person who sucks and like all these other women and you're just like perfect. Ugh. I used to be perfect too at one point. Never ever trust that. You have to recognize people are real people. Okay, somebody else. You'd have to be really effed up in the head to want to be with an influencer. So cringe. Hi, all of my lovely influencers out there who are doing amazing things and creating amazing content that you're also sharing a beautiful message of support and light and creating books and using your influence to get people to recognize that you are there for them and recognize that influencer is just one stepping stone to a larger impact that you're creating in the world. I love you so much. Don't listen to this crap. Okay? Just imagine having to deal with that someone that needs validation and likes to think that they are special. Not if you truly understand an influencer. We don't care about likes. We care about impact. Imagine having to deal with being recorded all the time and having to come up with stupid antics for views. No way. Again, if you're in the right relationship, you're going to want to share that with your partner and be recorded and be out there. And if your partner does not want to be in the spotlight at all, but you need somebody who can be in the spotlight with you to be able to share that message, then you're with the wrong person. Like, it's just like that makes sense. Okay. If you need that and you're with the wrong person, you need to have the right person. One person's annoying woman is another person's dream girl. One person's annoying man is another person's dream man. Just because somebody follows you around with a camera and is like taking like stuff from your life and just putting it out there and enjoy, for somebody else to sit there and be like, leave me the F alone, and put that as you're trying to like show the love, not doing it for likes, but for the sheer joy of it, and being like, this is who I am, and I'm sharing authentically with the world. This is who I am. And for somebody to treat you like that, you're with the wrong person. So again, like they think she's doing this just for likes. She could have done this for different reasons. You have to understand, like, people do things for intention. Some of them are doing it from ego, yes. But the ones that are truly doing it from a place of authenticity, which you all are wanting to do, you want to be authentic. You're not doing it for ego. If you were doing it for ego, when you don't get likes on your videos at the first part, because it always starts out where you are trying to put something out there and you get no likes, and you think maybe it's not worth it to keep doing it because nobody's liking my stuff, there's still people out there who will watch it. Even if you don't get a single like or comment on it. If you're only posting for likes and comments, you're missing a huge chunk of the actual intention. I did not put this book out just to make a whole bunch of sales in a couple of months. In truth, I haven't made as many sales as I wanted to make right now. And I know that those sales are coming because this book is freaking awesome. And anybody who actually has read this book has told me this is the book that every mom needs to have. But am I going to sit out there and cry because I haven't got all the sales yet for this book yet? No, because this book is now part of my legacy. I can point to this book and say, it's in my book. But it's not just having the book. It's not about the ego. It's about the impact that this book is going to make for someone. At some point, this book is going to be in the library. I'm just going to like donate it to the libraries. I'm going to order a whole bunch more copies in the new year. It's very expensive to order the author's copies. And I have to figure out how many I'm going to need to order to be able to give to birth workers and to the libraries. Because I just want this book out there. I just want this book out there. I want it in the hands of every mom that she's going to need this book. I want to make sure she's got this book. It's why it's also on Amazon for Kindle for only $10. It's why I teach on it for free on my channel. I'm not doing it for likes. I'm not sitting there and going, oh, boo hoo, my channel doesn't have enough likes. And this is the idea, this misconception with influencers. And you can see it. Like they're just tearing them down. And you know what? There might be women out there that are like, but I want to be an influencer. And I don't want to do it for likes. I have a message. But if this is how people talk about influencers, maybe I should just stay hidden. So again, if you're going to do authenticity, you have to recognize that there are going to be people out there that are going to say, oh, you're just sharing that for likes and views. You're just sharing that to stroke your ego. You're just doing that for validation. The one person that you need to have to hear most of all when you're sharing something is yourself. Are you doing it just for likes and views, or are you sharing it because it's something that's coming into your heart and your soul and you want to put that light out there? If you want to put that light out there, and you're not asking to get anything in return, that's when you suddenly get 729 likes on something that you just did for fun. Okay? So, I've got another one here. Someone said this is women's lived experience and now it's viewed. And then there's a whole bunch of comments in there. Oh, it's our triggered man number 1 who comment on the fact that this woman has a lived experience. Now, first of all, he's not. Like, this is again why I do this. So I don't feel like topic of discussion. Perhaps you do for your juvenile response to attack me as if my reply was directed at you. Now, who's making about themselves? I accused her of playing victim for her comment because it bears no relation to post. Their gender should nothing to do with what's shown. Both men and women feel offended in relationships. Perhaps this wife offended him earlier. He's expecting a sincere apology rather than this playfulness to dodge her accountability. But instead, bitter women want to jump in here and vilify the men automatically, just like you. Both of you ought to get help for your issues before you damage another relationship with that baggage. There are countless cases of unfortunate absence emotionally, intimately by husbands, but to assume this guy is neglectful by some random post offers no context is absurd. Wow. Oh my goodness. He just keeps going. I'm sorry for this truth, but when they don't, women talk about it. How about less talk and more action resolving this? Because this is how women express it, to say you're not alone. Like, we're doing it. Wow, triggered man is really, really, oh my goodness. Triggered man is so triggered. It's just incredible how triggered man is. But I mean, again, this is why. This is why you do it. This is why you tell people, like, you got to keep spreading that light. You've got to keep doing it. Even when you're not getting likes, even when you're not getting views, you still need to do it. Even when you get attacked. I mean, I got seriously attacked. Holy crap, they are still coming. Oh, I got a heart. That was nice. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. They told me that I am messed up in the head and that I'm projecting. And there's probably going to be a hell of a lot more. But, you know, again, you really just have to recognize that. And I've had this happen all my life, where I used to be my full, authentic, goofy self, and people would tell me I was crazy. And by choosing now to just be me, it doesn't bother me. And that's the place you have to get at. You have to get to the place where it just doesn't bother you. Your partner could ignore you and tell you that you're annoying, and you can just sit there and be like, if they constantly tell me I'm annoying and they're more nasty and dismissive of my feelings than they are actually spending the time and delighting in me, there is somebody out there who is going to delight in me. There's somebody who's going to be like, honey, I love you so much. And right now, I don't have the bandwidth for this, but I love you and I want you to be your full authentic self and I want you to go and do your thing. And that's not just in a romantic relationship, but with our kids too. Michaela is this tiny little pixie who's got a lot of energy. And sometimes she's just like, go, 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 go. And I've had to be like, look, honey, I love you so much. And right now, this thing that you're doing, this little pixie thing, I do not have the energy for it. My battery is dead. I tell her my battery is dead. She understands that because she's got the iPad. So it's like the battery is dead. It's at 2%. I need to recharge. So I need you to put on your headphones and I need you to just do your thing. Or I'm going to put on my headphones and I'm going to take some time to rest. And I'm not going to interact right now. I will interact with you later, but I just don't have the bandwidth. As opposed to telling her to stop talking, stop singing, stop doing her thing because she just needs to be a normal kid. She's crazy for doing that. Like, look how many people said I'm crazy. It doesn't bother me. I got 729 likes on that comment. Somebody said I should write a book. Pay attention to the people that actually are like responding in positivity. Those are your people. Now, obviously, this doesn't work if you're looking for ego strokes and you're saying something absolutely terrible, but that's not my people here. Those people I tend to make go away. If chances are, if you're close in my circle, you're not that person. You're probably the person who has been told all your life to stop sharing and stop trying to put your weirdness out into the world. I'm going to tell you, be as weird as you want. Weird people have a hell of a lot more fun. And the ones, anybody who's been called crazy for their innovative ideas and for sharing their passion and their message, who's really the crazy one? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And a lot of these people that were so triggered were probably thinking the problem is women and their silliness and not wanting to look at themselves. When you're willing to be like, I might have something that might have upset someone, but is it something that I intentionally did to upset them, or is it something that I unintentionally did that I'm just not meta aware to, that I can sort of be like, okay, I'm taking this in. Does it feel true for me though? No, it doesn't feel true for me. That's okay. So I'm going to take that little bit of constructive criticism. I'm going to take what I can use of it and I'm going to toss the rest. I'm not going to take that part in. Maybe it's just not the right partner. Maybe it's just not the right friend. Maybe it's not the right audience. The right audience will resonate, even with my empowered birth. This is a book for women who want to have a true natural birth experience, who have otherwise been told by the medical system and our birth culture that it's too hard to get, or that they have to prepare their bodies for it, or that somehow there's something wrong with their bodies, that they're defective, that they won't be able to get that they need to lower their expectations. This book is a book of hope that I created because when I was saying I want to just show up, not even have anybody touch me, people told me that I was crazy and putting my baby at risk, and that I was a terrible mother and I didn't deserve the children that I had for daring to refuse the test that I refused. Somebody else reading those comments would think that there's something wrong with them and they'd crumble under the pressure. This book tells them not to crumble under the pressure. And I'm going to write more in the new year. I'm thinking I'm not going to put it concrete because things change, but there is another book in me. There's actually quite a few books in me. And someone even said, you should write a book. And I said, I did. They might check out my page. You never know. Got 729 likes for something that took me 5 minutes. It's that simple. You don't even have to put the post on your own social media. You can just go and comment on other things. And it doesn't even have to do anything to do with your business, because that one did not have anything to do with what I do. They might think, oh, she writes a relationship book, and find out I'm actually a birth coach. But that's not all I do. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself. So, to recap on authenticity and sharing your message and being afraid of what people are going to think, I want to tell you right now, people are going to tear you down. The higher up you rise, the more they are going to find dirt on you. If you own your dirt, if you own your skeletons, if you own who you are, they can't touch you. Other people will pick up on that. There's going to be people that will join the side of tearing you down. And then there's going to be the ones that are like, why the hell are they tearing this really nice, awesome person down? They don't deserve that. They might not come to your defense. Some of them will. Either way, you know who's already defended? You've defended yourself because you have no attachment to the outcome. I'm going to share this. And you know what? This video, some people might say, this is too long. This is too wordy. You went too much into your cerebral thing, and I don't like you. Okay. You didn't like this one. You know what? I had fun making it. And some people will watch to the end, and some will drop off after 5 minutes. Some will start it at 5 minutes, go, this is really good, and I need to put a pin in this and go and come back to this later. I have absolutely no attachment. Mine is, I'm going to put this out there as is, completely unedited. I'm going to stick it on Facebook, and it's just going to be there. And maybe I might refine it for YouTube at some point or clip it, but I'm putting it out there because somebody needs to hear this message. This message wouldn't come to me and it wouldn't be like, no, I need to film this. I can't just write this. I need to film this if it wasn't important. And you know what? The me of years ago really needed to hear this message. So I'm going to put this out there, and it's going to go where it's going to go. It's going to land how it's going to land. That's it. Just start posting. Seriously, get out of your own way and just do this. Even if you're not thinking of making a giant splash, if you're like, well, I only want to do a little bit in my business. I only want to be like a little bit of a coach, but I don't want a huge, huge, huge impact. I'm not looking for that. Still, this is your legacy. What if you die tomorrow? Seriously, no, seriously. What if you die tomorrow? If this was your last day on earth and you had this message in your heart to share, and you don't share it in the full authenticity of your feelings, how you want to share it in the moment. If you're waiting for that message to be perfect, that everybody's going to like it, that it's like the magnum opus of messages, you might die without ever having put it out there at all. So it's your choice. You can keep being afraid of what other people are going to think, or you can go out there and you can put some light out into the world. And you know what? It's the winter solstice this week. We're going into the days of darkness and the new year is coming through. What do you want to bring into 2024? I know I want to bring in authenticity. I want to bring in love, true, authentic love at that. I want to bring in more visibility, bring in more abundance and generosity and that light. I'm going to keep shining even more light and wisdom. I found myself again after being in the dark so long and so afraid of sharing. I found myself. I'm proud to be her. Like, I am awesome. I'm not saying that from a place of ego because, like, you know what? You're awesome too. And I'm going to tell you to own your awesomeness. Be proud of who you are right now. And if there's something that you're not proud of, love yourself enough to be like, I didn't know any better and I can change. I can grow. I'm on this growth path for the rest of my life and I'm enjoying every moment of it. Every day is something new and exciting. I get new insights coming to me. I get into conversations with amazing people. And it all happened because I share my messages and I don't worry about what other people will think anymore. And I find my people, and I know when something doesn't land, I can either refine the message or recognize, oh, this is the audience that, like, they really won't ever get it. They're just not at that place. They just want to pile on crap. All right. I love you, and I'll see you in the new year. Bye.